Hey everybody, this is the Jersey Comic Crew, and we are talking about Ubisoft Forward. Check out all the games that were announced. What do Rob and I think of them? Are we getting them? Check it out right now.
Hey guys, welcome to the Jersey Comic Crew, bringing the news and reviews on your favorite comics, movies, and TV shows. As always, I'm Rob Moran, and with me is the great Chris Heller.
Thank you very much. How you doing, Rob?
I'm doing well. I think we have some interesting stuff to talk about today, don't we?
I think we do. That's kind of usually why we gather here once a week.
Yeah, that's right. So what are we talking about today on today's video?
Today is Ubisoft Forward.
Oh.
Just happened. More gaming news as we enter the next-gen era of gaming.
Okay, cool.
Very, very soon. And they started off with a game that I've been very, very interested in. And I think you have been too. It was originally announced in 2019.
Okay.
Kind of like their last big E3 event before, this year became the post-apocalyptic world of Umbrella Academy. And now it got a name change and we got some gameplay. So that original game was called Gods and Monsters.
Yes, this was the game. I remember this from E3. This was the game that were like, oh, this is like the Legend of Zelda God of War hybrid, right?
Yes. And we now have it called Immortals, Fenyx Rising. And Phoenix is spelled very weird, which really screwed me up every time I posted stuff.
It's with the Fenyx, right?
Yes, no I, no Phoenix. It was,
So, right off the bat, that to me, portrays that name, Phoenix, is probably the name of either the main character or the name of it is the name? Okay, there we go.
Yes, you are correct.
All right, I had like a whole big spiel of conspiracies.
Yeah, no.
My first guess was right. All right.
Yes. And which we found out as well during this conference, the character is customizable from the beginning.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's dope.
Yeah, you could have it as trailer. You could have it as female or male, as well as different hair colors, different skin shades.
That's pretty cool.
I don't know, I don't know if the facial hair for like a dude would be customizable, but they have different like layers of thick, old Greek mythology beard.
That's dope.
But here's an interesting question before we delve into the game.
Yeah.
How do you usually, like in games like, Assassin's Creed and stuff like that, how do you usually pick the gender of a character? Are you like, hey, well, I'm a dude, I'm going to pick a dude? Or, like, what's your kind of way of picking characters?
That's usually what I do.
Yeah.
Because I kind of, like, try to... It depends the game I'm playing, right? So, like, a lot of times I try to make that person look like me or my ideal version of me,
Yeah.
So... I'll pick the guy.
So a lovely lady.
No, yeah. Oh, that'd be cool. No, so I usually pick like a male character. Try to get like the same build I have. It's like all facial hair when I didn't have facial hair. Facial hair now that I have facial hair.
Almost like your Nintendo me of like.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of like my own representation. I know a lot of people out there, they pick opposite gender, different races, stuff like that, which is cool, and like you get to like really immerse yourself in. With this game though, like. Since I saw the trailer and like all the other footage as a female character, female heroine, I might do the same, but it depends. Like if I feel like it's me in that game, like I'm the character and I'm going, I might make the character look like me. But if it looks like I'm playing a hero story, I might try to make that person what the hero story is supposed to be. So like if it's supposed to be like this game a female protagonist, I might just make the female protagonist and go forward. I don't have a problem with that, but usually I pick, and I think a lot of people do this. I'm sure you do it. Like make a character that looks like me.
So yeah, no, 100%. I'm in that camp as well. Like if it's Assassin's Creed, I usually always pick the guy
to make them look like me personally. Like
well, I mean, I don't know if any of the assassins look like both of us. They're so like ripped and they're climbing buildings at like top speed.
I know we don't climb buildings. That's the only difference.
Yeah. But like I always go the male protagonist in Assassin's Creed because that's what like I can relate to easier. But I think like a game like this, like sometimes I get attached to like, oh, the first thing I saw in this trailer is this character.
Exactly.
And that's what my brain is already locked into, kind of like, like Tomb Raider, you're already locked into Lara Croft and all this other stuff. So like with Fenyx Rising, I'm already kind of like, since 2019, I'm like, oh, it's about this almost like Horizon-ish character. Like locked in, so I was already kind of locked in on the female protagonist, so I think I'm gonna go female protagonist in this one.
This game, I gotta say, looks fantastic. How smooth like the weapons come out, and like they're all different magical weapons. she gets from the sword to the big hammer. Like, this trailer definitely showed some things that we didn't see, obviously, in the earlier trailers and, featurettes. And this really pulled me into the game where I was like, all right, this really feels like a God of War, Legend of Zelda game. Like, you have different weapons. You have this cartoony art style. It's a strong character. You got to go up against these giant monsters, which I'm sure these boss battles are going to be great. Like, you see a giant titan with purple armor.
Yeah, very Zelda. Very Zelda.
I'm sure we're going to have to, like, take out weak points to try to fight that.
Yeah.
And then that whole Medusa scene, by the way, beautiful. Like, the whole statue, like, her statue garden was great. Like, you're running around trying to find her, fighting off Flash, jumping around. And then she gets her Phoenix wings, which I guess is going to be an upgrade you get throughout the game. She fights, takes down Medusa, and then we see her flying down the ravine. Like, this game looks like a lot of fun, this open world. It's definitely bought for me. Yeah. And we know it's all for all platforms, so you don't have to worry about it's
and
only
Stadia.
on one thing. And Stadia.
And Stadia.
I remember when they first announced Stadia, I kind of got worried. I was like, oh, is Stadia going to take down everything? Is Stadia going to be the king? And I'm like, oh, there's no support behind Stadia and nobody cares about it. Okay. So.
And Stadia. Yeah, I'm excited about it. To me, it's very, like you said, Breath of the Wild. And when you have a game like Breath of the Wild that's that popular and that successful from a franchise that's like, next year 35 years old, you're going to have some copycats, right? Like, you're going to have some people who are going to we're going to take this style and try to make it our own and have a hit. Mm-hmm. And I think Ubisoft is on the right track. I think it's a great property that they could build upon. I like the story aspect where, in God of War, you're taking down the Greek gods. Mm-hmm. Most games of Greek mythology, it's you're fighting against the gods. This is you're trying to help them. Yeah. And trying to bring them back against the Titans. Mm-hmm. It has a lot of Horizon in it. To
my
me,
thing was that wasn't necessarily clear in the trailer. The story behind it, like, I kind of inferenced that, and then obviously reading a little bit upon it without too much spoilers, I get that like we're trying to help the gods. Yeah. But I felt like that was the one thing missing from this trailer, and I'm sure we're gonna get like an actual story trailer later.
Well, they did post the post show of Ubisoft Forward. So they showed the trailer in the beginning.
Yeah, and the announcement trailer.
The announcement trailer, but post show they did a gameplay like story look for like 15 minutes. Okay. 20 minutes. So you actually got to see like them play through a level, talk about the game, about the story. So it is like you trying to kind of restore the Greek gods back.
I like that.
The Titans kind of like defeated them, and you kind of been chosen.
So then, are those weapons, I guess, and like those wings? Those are probably all gifts from the gods. After you bring a god back, they bestow upon you power, so you could get stronger throughout your journey to ultimately
either
save
like
Zeus.
Equipment, like the wings, or like the moves, like the Ares like dagger thing that she does.
Like that. That's pretty.
It smart. Seems like like if you unlock a god, or you're restoring each sector of the realms.
Okay, cool.
That specific god. So they showed this area where like Hephaestus's area, who's the god of like workmanship, and he makes weapons that can't be defeated.
He's a forger.
The forger. And you have to go into his forge, and there's like this Titan metal robot thing that you have to defeat in order to restore and relight the fires of Hephaestus' workshop.
Oh, dude, I'm more hyped about this. Oh, wow.
So here's the other thing, right? Yeah. I'm really hyped about this game. I was hyped about this game since the teaser in 2019. Mm-hmm. It's a game that I'm definitely getting. I think so, because it's also Ubisoft, and because I'm still so fatigued from Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which was, Greek, Roman mythology, epic, 207 hours plus of gameplay with DLC.
That's a lot.
I think when I finally finished, it was over 207 hours. So I'm still a little fatigued from that. So it's a game where I'm like, I'm totally getting it. It might not be day one, but I'm totally getting it once that kind of fatigue release myself of it. But it looks great. I can't wait for it.
This is coming out, I think, like December, right? So you
December
have some time.
2nd or 3rd, yeah.
You have some time, and in this world, in quarantine, now to December could feel like another 3 years. It could feel like another 2 days.
Exactly, yeah.
I looked at the calendar. It's September, and I was like, "Was it March yesterday?" Like, I don't remember anything between this. So you might still be fatigued. So moving on to the next game that Ubisoft kind of did a little bit more news on, we have a Watch Dogs update. So we know Watch Dogs Legion is a very popular game in the Watch Dogs series that's going to come out. You can play pretty much as anybody, as an old grandma, as a nurse, a construction worker.
They play as anyone but the grandma. It seems like.
Oh, that's what I want to play as. They released a new playable character that's going to be post-game launch. It's going to be Aiden. Aiden's from the first Watch Dogs game. So we're going to get to play him. He's older. He has a scruffy beard. And what's very unique about Aiden and his character, there's going to be a story arc with him, which is pretty cool. So this shows to me that like they're paying homage to the first Watch Dogs. You know, fans wanted him back, especially in a world where, you know, you can play as anyone. Why couldn't you play as this guy? Why would he not be here to help take down the, you know, essentially the corrupt government that's in place, or the corrupt infrastructure, I should say.
The corrupt world that he's
exactly
so good at taking down.
So I think that's pretty cool, and the fact that a character has a story arc, I think, opens up the game to further expansions, because like maybe a new playable character come post game that has a new story arc. You see something else in the game. Now, for me personally, this game, you know, was on my radar because I could play as Lady Grandma. I think I'm going to get it, and it's going to be fun. I just don't know how much I'm going to enjoy it, and that's something I just got to wait and see.
It might be a game that, like, you wait till, like, they have a sale on it for, like, $20.
For me personally, you know, yeah, I don't think this is a day one game for me, but it's cool to see they have a lot of support behind it.
Yeah, I'm interested in Aiden Pierce. Yeah, and I was kind of on the other side of the fence where I'm like, I'm kind of interested. I'm not the biggest Watch Dogs fan. Like, I didn't even play 2 because I just never got around to it. Like, it wasn't like I was avoiding it. But 1 I enjoyed. Like, I thought it was fun. I liked the character of Aiden Pierce. I liked the story they delved into.
Yeah.
1, and then they kind of like threw him out the window, kind of like, you know, Assassin's Creed style, where it was like 1 and done. And I was like, oh, I thought they were going to kind of build upon this character.
Which they probably should have. I think the franchise would have been a little better if they did.
So it intrigues me that they're bringing him back, which seems to be like it's going to be like a DLC.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, probably a paid DLC, which intrigues me, but I don't know if it still intrigues me enough to buy a full game just for a DLC.
Exactly.
I don't know. Watch Dogs is still kind of like a weird series to me of like, it's fun, but do I care that much about it?
It's definitely a niche game. It has its audience that like are going to play it. This game, I think, is opening it up a little bit more to get more outside people to jump in on it.
Yeah, it's kind of like their version of Grand Theft Auto in a way.
Yeah, it kind of feels like
that.
Well,
Far Cry is, but like it has that element of like, oh, I could just hack anything and shoot people or drive a car or whatever. Yeah. So,
I think for me, I'm going to wait to see more reviews and what people say before I grab it. But, you know, we want to hear your thoughts down in the comments below. Is Watch Dogs Legion something you're going to get? And also, I'm sorry, we didn't even talk about it. Immortals, is this something you're going to buy on your console of choice? Definitely let us know.
Yeah, because it's also available for Switch, which I thought was really, really cool.
I think I might get this for Switch.
Really? I am not. As much as I love the Switch, and I think Switch is very underrated. I like to see a Breath of the Wild style game in like the PS5 engine. To me, is I can't turn that down.
That's true.
It's basically like seeing Zelda on PS5. So for me, this is a PS5 game all the way.
Awesome. Next, we want to talk about Ubisoft has been, you know, we just saw them introduce an old character into a new game. They're bringing up some old IP for us. So we know that they're doing a remake of a legendary game that I think most people had on the PlayStation. The Prince of Persia, The Sands of Time. They're making a remastered version of this game. It's going to be ported over. I never played The Prince of Persia. So I don't know how impactful this is for people who have. Like, this does look cool, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
But it doesn't scratch my back, if you will. What about you? Did you play The Prince of Persia?
Yeah, I had like the first 2 or 3 for PlayStation 2. Phenomenal story. Like that kind of Prince of Persia for like a lot of people our age too was like how you went down the rabbit hole of story-driven games.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, they're some of the best rated storyline games of all time.
Oh wow.
It was kind of like Ubisoft's breaking out of like the company pre Assassin's Creed before, like, as they built upon it.
Okay.
Great story, great kind of RPG action adventure elements. But I gotta say, man, the graphics did not look good
for the remake, right? I was thinking, I was like, it looks like It does look better than the first one. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, absolutely. It's
but
PS2.
It's not something I would like brag or like even bring up. It's something like you gave a team to do and they finish it real quick and it's going to be posted. But it's like, oh, maybe we shouldn't advertise it. If people find it, great. If not, let's not bring more attention to it. Like, it doesn't look that good.
It doesn't. And what's weird is, like, if you look at the trailer that they showed, it was kind of like a 1-for-1 of the original, right?
Yeah.
And they're like trying to show how upgraded it is. The environment looks great.
Mm-hmm.
Like the sand moves, like every step you have like an impact, and the walls and the lighting and the shading looks amazing. But when it comes to the actual characters and like the faces, it's almost like 360 or PS3 graphics. I don't know how much money Ubisoft put into this upgrade.
It felt like what you did with like Avengers now, like the new Avengers game.
Yeah.
Like, the scenery looks good. There's certain things that look great.
And you played it, right?
Yeah, I finished it. Well, and it's I want to wait for you to finish it, then we'll do a review because I definitely want to talk.
I haven't even gotten it yet.
It's like the character models aren't the greatest looking. The story is fantastic for the Avengers, but for this, the character models don't look great, but the scenery does. So I'm wondering if that's like a new trend that people don't care what the characters look like, but because you're playing them, you don't even look at your character so much. You look at what's around you. And
or because you're like third person, you only see like the back of them.
Exactly. So I'm thinking maybe they're like, oh, they see more of the scenery. Let's put more of the effort there. The character you're only going to see a small amount of time. We could put less effort there. Maybe that's something they have to do. I don't know. It just didn't look as
to me, it seems like they cut corners with budgets.
Yes.
And they were like, we want to remake this game, but we're not spending the amount of money we would put into like, Assassin's Creed Valhalla or something like a AAA title. Which Ubisoft now is like supposedly trying to invent the like quadruple A title video game.
Yeah, I've heard.
Which everyone's like, what the hell does that even mean?
I have no idea. Is that like the game that like everybody must get? Because that's just like AAA games. I don't get it.
I guess so. And I'm like, isn't that just AAA in general?
How did we get, by the way, from A to AAA? Where's double A? What is an A game? What's an A game? What's a
I guess
double,
A game
triple?
would be like indie, like low budget indie. And AA would be like third party, middle tier, like, has a good following, more like a cult classic, like Scott Pilgrim, which we'll talk about. And then your AAA title is your, Assassin's Creed, God of War, Halo.
How did we get to the AAA, A, and AA and A? Why not A, B, and C? I guess people were upset that they were C's.
Questions for the multiverse people.
I guess, yeah. If you guys know why games are rated AAA, AA, and A, let us know down in the comments below. We're not going to Google it.
It's rated because of this, you idiots.
Yeah, I'm not going to Google it. I'm just going to forget that knowledge after I record. But if you know, let me know and make me feel stupid because that'll make me happy.
You idiot, you moron. I want the show to make fun of you.
I feel like some people do, but that's fine.
I feel like some people do, which I'm totally okay with.
That's fine. The next thing you did bring up was Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah.
So Scott Pilgrim, huge fan base for the comic, for the video game, for the movie. Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the complete edition, holiday 2020. It's the 10-year anniversary. You get to play the game again. That side scroller, jump. You get to hit the people, hit monsters, hit aliens, hit the ex-boyfriends. Looks like a lot of fun. I'm going to pick it up because I've never played the first one. And it's always a game that I wanted to pick up and kind of never got around to playing. Kind of like with you with the Prince of Persia. Sorry, Watch Dogs 2.
Yeah.
But this, I was like, oh, you're doing a remake anniversary. It's a perfect time to pick it up. I'm down for it. And also, there's been rumors circulating in the wide world of nerdy news that they're going to make an animated series of Scott Pilgrim or do something else.
I think they are, yeah.
So, anything I can do to further support that, I'm down for it.
I'm on the fence. Like, Scott Pilgrim, I respect the Scott Pilgrim fandom. I respect it. I think it's awesome, like, to take kind of like it's a very indie comic, and it's a very indie game, and it's a very indie movie, too. It has, like, this cult following of indies, which is awesome. It's one of the biggest indie success stories ever, besides, like, Image Comics.
Yeah.
But it's also a game where I'm kind of like, meh.
Really?
Yeah, I was always kind of like, meh. To me, it's almost like a Sega Genesis game where you could just side scroll and you fight and you.
It's like a game at an arcade, when you were younger.
Exactly, it's an arcade style. Yeah. And the movie I think was good. I think a lot of people think it's a lot better than it is. I'm part of it's a little overrated fandom of it, where I'm like, yeah, it's a decent movie, but I don't think it's better than 95% of the other stuff we get.
I usually feel like the opposite. I feel like you are a big fan of nostalgia goggles, and you look back and stuff and like, oh wow, this is like really good.
Oh, definitely. I have a case of nostalgia goggles of different things. This just doesn't happen to be one of those things.
This just doesn't hit your goggles.
It doesn't.
You just see it as a regular person.
Like the other ones do. Yeah, like the other goggles, they have like the massagers, and it's phenomenal. Like this just doesn't.
This is like a broken lens that you got at the dollar store.
Yeah, like
you have
it's
to
like
wear.
The old 3D red and blues. Like
it's like it gets the job done.
It gets the job done, but it doesn't tickle the fancy the way the other nostalgia goggles do. I don't make the rule.
Well, that's fair. Guys, let us know down below if you're going to pick up the new Scott Pilgrim game. If you're excited for it, and do you view Scott Pilgrim with the nostalgia goggles, or do you think it's just a really good series? We want to know your thoughts. And guys, that wraps up this video about Ubisoft Forward. Ubisoft Forward was a little short, but it did drop some new information. We want to hear what your favorite piece of topic news was. Was it the remakes of your classic games? Was it the news that Watch Dogs Legion is bringing back Aiden? Or is it that new video game, Immortals, Fenyx Rising, Phoenix with an F because she's unique and cool.
And a Y.
And a Y, yes. As always, I'm Rob Moran.
And I'm Chris Heller.
And we'll see you next time.
JerseyComicCrew.podbean.com or youtube.com/JerseyComicCrew.